Matthew Davis Media once again. No, I'm joking. Hey guys, it's Bitsy Keen Bainham. Holy shit. Movie Fan 23 here. Welcome to my Ickle Pickle Lair. Welcome to my movie review on Wonder Woman. Made in the year 2017, well, technically, I think it was actually in 2016, but it came out in 2017. So, Wonder Woman stars Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, fucking, some other actors, fucking Ewan Bremer, and the guy that's in Boy in the Striped Pajamas plays the villain. Anyway, so came out in 2017, and it was considered the first great movie in the DCEU. Man of Steel is the first great movie, and this is the second great movie. Anyway, so basically, what the plot of Wonder Woman is, you got this place known as a place where an island with the Amazons, which is an island where it just has women. They train, they fight, they go, they shoot arrows, they fucking have things with swords, and they're all made by a god by the name of Zeus, not the Zeus from Thor: Love and Thunder, but by the demigod Zeus. I don't know much about Greek mythology, so yeah. So Diana is a child, told stories as a kid, and she's like, wants to learn more about fighting in the war, and her aunt kind of teaches it, but her mother's not too fond of it. So she learns more about how she was created. She was sculpted from clay, and fucking, even though she's like, I heard this story a million times, and brought to life by Zeus. Sorry. I don't know. I do weird stuff like that. Don't like it. Eat me arse. Anyway, 1 second. I want to see this. Yeah, okay. So just make sure that the cover's the same. Sometimes the covers aren't. Anyway, so essentially, yeah, it goes through the montage over the years of them training her, but then the mother doesn't want her to train, because she's afraid of getting hurt, but the aunt tries her in private, but then eventually the mother's like, no, you're going to train her hard. So they train her over the years until she's now an adult woman. And we also learn when she's a kid about this great weapon destroyer called the God Killer, that kills evil gods. Ares, which is the main villain. And only one, the worthy one, can take it and use it to destroy Ares or whatever. So they don't want her to know this certain truth, which later on we find out that she is the god killer, destroyer. So she's being trained. She accidentally uses her powers and fucks up someone. They talk more on the island and all of this other stuff and train and blah 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 blah. Eventually, while she's looking at this, first of all, this gorgeous fucking shot of the island, her looking now, and it's really nice looking and stuff. She ends up seeing this plane come and crashing and blows and someone in the water. So then she jumps down and ends up saving this guy by the name of Steve Trevor. She sees, oh my god, you're a man, and he's like, yeah, don't I look like one? And she's never seen a man before. Then he's like, okay, we gotta go. Then we cut to the other side of this thing, because the other thing is that this island is hidden from the rest of the world. So it's a little bit like Wakanda, kind of hidden. There's even a little kind of portal thing. So yeah, I mean, it looks nothing like Wakanda, but whatever. So essentially, we then get these Germans, because this takes place in the 40s, around World War One. Or is it 40s? I don't know. I'm not great with history, so they're like, oh god. So they end up going through, and then we get this fucking badass fight scene. Fucking the Amazons all there, like, oh, who is that? And they're like, they're fucking people up, and like, pew pew, fucking have 3 hours at once and fucking shoot them. Like, fucking class. And then Steve Trevor helps fucking shoot, a couple of the army men, and fucking Diana doesn't do much, and then her aunt gets killed or whatever, shot, and then eventually killed, and then eventually, she starts teaming up and using the sword and fucking people up left and right. It's fucking and she starts going pew pew, dodging shit, dodging bullets. Like she even dodges a bullet that fucking someone shoots Steve Trevor. And it's fucking awesome. Anyway, fight ends. They want to know who he is. The aunt unfortunately dies in a very emotional scene. Um, then essentially, what ends up happening then is they take Steve Trevor because they don't fully trust him. They use this thing called the lasso of something. It's called the lasso of truth, but like the lasso of something, there's another name for it, and he doesn't want to say, I can't tell you that, I can't tell you my serial number, blah 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 blah. So then we learn about his backstory because it causes him to tell the truth. And he's like, oh, it's really hot. So we learn about him. We learn about World War One. He's like, it's the war to end all wars and all that stuff. So he has to go and fight it. But he wants Diana to come. Diana wants to go with him. Was like, oh no. But she's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go with you. So essentially, what ends up happening is he takes a bath. Diana sees his watch, his willy, his cock, his dick, his penis. It's like, what is that? And it's very smart because like, it's just my watch. Yeah. So they learn more about each other or whatever. And pretty much what ends up happening then, they learn more about the war, and she wants to go and like fight it with him. And he's like, no, that's not a good idea. And then he's like, yeah, fine. So he says goodbye to the woman. Like, oh, we have to put an end to the war. And he's like, that is not Diana. You must stay here. No, I have to put an end to the war. And like, okay, well, you can, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, people are dying everywhere and all this shit. So she wants to help out because innocent people, women, children are dying, and there's an evil villain. Two evil villains that have this poisonous gas that they're unleashing and killing people with. So essentially, what ends up happening then is she ends up going to get the weapon destroyer, the god's thing, in like this kind of place. Gets these clothes, this hood thing, whatever, and she gets the sword. Ord. Basically gets the sword, which is the weapon destroyer, the sword that she knows. She goes down, goes on the boat with Steve Trevor, and then gets to London. So that's kind of like the first kind of half the movie is like it's on the island. Then we get to London. Then we get the main kind of focus. So we get to London. She gets to look around. She meets the secretary, Steve Trevor's secretary. He's like, okay, trying to put clothes on and stuff, and essentially like change the clothes to be more like suitable. She's not used to everyday life, so it's another kind of fish out of water story, similar to kind of how Captain Marvel or Thor was in the first Thor film or whatever. So she doesn't know the bouts of everyday life, so she's going over, oh, look at the baby, blah blah blah. And then later on in the movie, not at this part, but way later on when she's walking, like, would you like an ice cream? She's like, yeah, and licks it, and then goes, you should be so proud. There's little moments like that where she's not really sure what to do, and then there's like a moment where she's like walking with the shield through like the door. It's like, no, Diana, put the shield and sword down. Put the sword and shield down. Walk through the door normally. After you, sir. There's that kind of like. It's like, no, I have to. I cannot let it go. It's like, right. It's like, no, right. Do you want to give it to me, love? And she's like, no, it's fine or whatever. Like I need to carry on to it. And it's like, right, okay, hold on to that with your life. And she's like, okay, yeah, fine. So she's basically just adapting to like life. She even looks, is this considered armor? When she's looking at the dress, she's like, it would be, I guess. So basically, yeah, like it's kind of like that fish out of water story. But anyway, while there, she learns more about the war. She meets these guys. The guy, I'm gonna have to find out this actor's name because I know he's a well-known actor and he's in the Harry Potter films. I know that. 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna look him up now. David Tuilelis, right? Yeah, he's in The Boy in the Striped Pajamas and he's in Harry Potter. The Prisoner of Azkaban. He was in The Prisoner. Okay, yeah. So he's in it. So like Steve Trevor knows him. They're kind of working for him. Like, oh yes, sir, this is what's happening. We're trying to like infiltrate the things or whatever. And a lot of the people there are sexist. Like, go get this woman out here, and then they even say like, no, like we can't really do anything about it. Like, it's not really our jurisdiction to help people or whatever. Like, people are gonna die, and Diana's like, oh, you should all be ashamed. Like, millions of people are gonna die. He's like, and then she even gives out Steve Trevor saying, you lied to me. Like, these people, we need to stop it. He's like, there's nothing we can do. So eventually, they end up going and hiring the rest of like a war battalion. Um, a couple of these guys. There's this kind of like Native American, this French. I think he's French, brown colored skin. Not saying that in a racist way. Uh, you got Ewan Bremer, who would be from the movie Trainspotting. He was in Black Hawk Down as well. Scottish actor, plays this guy called Charlie. They recruit him at a pub, and then eventually, they start fighting in World War I together, and they realize that Diana's special. He's not too sure about him at the beginning. Like, it's clearly that he suffers with PTSD, but eventually, as the movie goes on, they fight in a bunch of battles. Like, and she's like, we have to help these people, and then she goes up on the battlefield, and then that's like a good hour or so into the movie, like a good chunk into the movie, and she gets her iconic costume, takes it off, the bullets comes, and she goes, she just starts fucking people up left and right, and it's just this amazing action sequence, and there's that amazing part where she's fucking more army men up, like a little bit like the original Captain America film. Like, there's more like she's fighting against the soldiers during this war. So she's fighting like during this one scene, and then this building, and she was in lasso, and there's a lot of great uses of show don't tell, and then like there's like a scene near the end where she's fucking up more people, and there's a lot of horror for the rest of the movie, fucking up army men, getting to know the group, and of course bonding with them, and of course bonding with Steve more and more, and eventually they end up falling in love. I got a comment. Let's see who it is. Hey Kane, yo, what's up, Hayden? Um, so yeah, essentially, she kind of bonds with the rest of the group, and um, pretty much falls in love with Steve Trevor, kisses him or whatever, dances with him. They go up to the bedroom and they get freaky, clearly. Then the next day they're, fighting more people. Then we get the iconic photo that first appeared in Batman v Superman. We see it get taken in this. Which, by the way, I love the fact that we saw that Batman v Superman first before we saw this. I don't know. I kind of found that cool. And then like we also have a lot of scenes with the two villains, the one with the kind of fucked up face, and the poison gas, and they're poisoning people and shooting people and doing all these horrible things. And Diana is convinced that guy is Ares, whatever the fuck his name is. So she's convinced that that's him, but she soon learns it's not. So essentially, there's this kind of sequence then, like they go to this party, they infiltrate this thing, and they kind of fuck bad guys up, and they go into this place, and Chris Pine pretends to be German, which I really thought that I loved that scene. I thought that scene was very funny. He talks to the woman saying, "Oh, I love fire, don't you?" That kind of stuff. And essentially, she goes in and dances with the villain, but comes in with like a sword. Hey Kane, I watched Spider-Man Homecoming Far From Home on the Tree Movie Collection Blu-ray yesterday. Nice. So pretty much then what ends up happening is like they're talking whatever, and she kind of finds out, and then eventually they're going to the base, and then like essentially she goes to this toxic place with poison gas and finds out that everyone is dead. She gets annoyed at Steve Trevor and is like, no, fuck off, I want to go and do this. Doesn't actually say fuck off. It's like, no, stay away from me. And then she runs to go and try and help more people. And essentially then what ends up happening is we get the final act, which is fucking spectacular, by the way. It's one of the best third acts in a superhero standalone movie. and essentially she's fucking up fucking what's your like no the guys are kind of going and shooting and trying to steal the plane and get rid of the kind of toxic gas. She's fucking up people. She fights the guy, stabs him, and then realizes that once she kills Ares, it's like the war will end. The war to end all wars will end. But she kills him and then realizes, oh shit. Um, yeah, Scott Pilgrim isn't my favorite movie anymore. I still love Scott Pilgrim, but it's not my favorite movie. Sorry, I'm just answering the question. Um, yeah, God, that just proves how long I've been off YouTube. Holy shit. Um, but yeah, then it's revealed that Ares is the bad guy. She then like that the guy from earlier is the bad guy. He then goes to try and stab her. We get this amazing fight scene at the end. She goes all deaf. Steve says something to her. We get this moment where she finds out what he actually says. He ends up going and sacrificing himself and blowing himself up. Very much in the vein of Captain America, except he actually fucking dies. Shoots the gas, blows himself up. She eventually stops the villain, kills him, saves the day, is considered a hero. They're all sad after that. The war's over. And then we cut to present day. Her at this place, getting a letter from Bruce Wayne, looking at all this thing, and because like that's how the movie began, was like her in London, kind of looking at like because Bruce Wayne sent her something and then kind of texted her, or no, emailed her about stuff. What was I gonna say? Yeah, and then the movie ends with her like jumping to the camera, about to save the world in her costume. So I love this movie. I think it's pretty obvious. This film was fucking fantastic. This was kind of when the DCEU started to get really great. Now, I personally love Man of Steel. I think it's underrated. I definitely agree with John Campia on that. I really love this film as well, though. I think that the action in this is spectacular. I think that Gal Gadot is brilliant in the role as Wonder Woman, even though, of course, she done that cringy fucking song during the pandemic, that Imagine, um, which I haven't actually watched, but like I just know it's cringe. like I'm gonna watch it soon. I might even react to it. Who knows? But yeah, um, print of this Blu-ray is great. I love how at the back it says must redeem by the 31st of the 12th, 2020. Jesus, that was 2 years ago. But I got this Blu-ray 5 years ago. Are you planning on getting the thing on 4K? Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so back to the review. Essentially, where do I begin? I'm going to talk about some of my favorite scenes, okay? Um, love that. I'm going to talk about all the action, first of all. Love the fucking war scene. They're walking through trenches. Where are we? He's like, you wanted me to take you to the war? Well, here we are. And stuff. And she's like, okay, what's happening? And then there's a woman like talking in a different language. Please help. He's like, what's wrong? We're dying. He's like, look. He's like, we have to help these people. And she's like, no, we can't. We have to just keep going. Come on, Diana. These people, we can't help everybody. It's this real intensity. We have to help them. Can't or won't. I was like, we have to keep going and stuff. And then eventually they're coming out like shooting or whatever, and like, right, come on. And they're like ready to get into position. And then there's just this moment where she stops, turns around like can't and puts the thing on, this thing on right here, and just turns around and they're like, stop, and they're shooting like, and the guy's like, what the hell is she doing? Charlie says that, and then they're like kind of just shooting, and she kind of goes, walks and hits, starts dodging shit, and then the bullet kind of comes and she dodges that, and then she runs like fucking people up left and right and fucking people, and then the guy comes over, like, the rest of them like, come on, he's firing, and start shooting and all that. And it's just this amazing scene, and then they go into the town, and just this fucking, like, she's there with the shield obviously as well, like dodging the bullets, and she's there like that, and just fucking fighting them and sticking them with the fucking sword and slicing them, and just amazing talk. We're jumping, and it's just these great fucking action sequences, Um, And then, they're running into this town like, oh, we gotta stop her, and shooting. And then she's like, right, I'll go up there. You just like, I don't know. And then she's kind of running, like dodging people, dodging things with the thing, and just fucking hitting and fucking people up, fighting. And then she jumps in the building. Then there's that scene where she jumps on the ground and she kind of looks, and then like she kind of like slides in slow motion and starts like skidding with the fucking sword and fucking it up. And there's a lot of that kind of slow motion every moment, the slow motion when she's fighting, and they fucking up and they're shooting around people like this just amazing kind of action sequence with like guns and shit. Obviously, they're fighting, and then she kind of throws the shield at someone. It's like, oh, Captain America. Um, so yeah, I really like that part. I love they're like, oh, we did it, you did it, yeah, you did all of this and all that, and then they're like, can I take your photo? And they're like, yes, stay still, thank you for being my friends. Like, yeah, you did all this. Like, yeah, we did it. So it's this great kind of victory moment, and I like that kind of when they're fighting, and Steve like shoots someone, and she kind of looks, and it's almost like a show don't tell in the way where it's like, okay, she doesn't like violence, so she's kind of like, yeah. So then she starts using the lasso and fucking throwing people around with it, like fucking hitting people and stuff, and it's great. It's a great sequence. Then I really like the scene after that where they're talking like, yeah, you did all this, and they're like, yeah, they're all singing. It's like, what's Charlie doing? Is Charlie singing? He's like, oh yeah, and he's just singing with the on the piano, like, oh yeah, and all that. It's like, you did all this. Like, what is that? It's all, oh, it's just snowfalls. And then they start dancing. It's like, is this what people do when there's no war? Yeah, mostly. And all that stuff. And they're kind of just dancing and learning. It's a really nice, sweet kind of sequence. Just talking like, what are you going to do when it's all over? And all this kind of stuff. I like that. They go up, they're like, night, Steve, and like, night. And then they just walk in, and then they clearly bang, which is nice. But yeah, it was fucking a great scene. Um, um, so basically, uh, what was I gonna say? Um, yeah, so I like that. Um, I love the opening of the film. There's like this. I used to want to save the world. There's this shot of the Earth. I used to want to save the world, but then, and she goes through this whole speech and this nice shot then of the city and then Wayne Enterprises, because this is in the DCEU, of course, and she knows Bruce Wayne because she met him in Batman v Superman. Um, and then they bring her these things, and she's kind of walking through this place, and um, nice shot, and then she's looking at things, and she opens up this thing, and it's like the old photo of her and the watch and stuff, and nice use of foreshadowing. And then we get the whole backstory, and you know, I really love the first half with the Amazons and stuff. When they're like, yeah, it's fighting, and all that. And it's like, Diana, and she runs off. Diana, where are you going? And all that. It's like, Diana, come back here, and all that. And then she jumps off, and she's like, oh, she jumps, nearly falls, and someone catches her. Diana, don't do this, and all that. And then I like when she's kind of like going, yeah, kind of imitating what they're doing. We get that um she's a fighter and she wants to do well. I was like, you could have got yourself hurt there. And then there's all the kind of like talking scenes, and then there's the scene where she's in the bedroom and they're talking about, you were sculpted to life by Zeus, and this really nice visual backstory of showing like, oh, how the gods all fought and how they're created. It's like, I've heard this story a million times, and then they're walking at this place like, and the god killer. It's like, yeah, you'll learn about that someday. And I really like that, and just this nice shot of like of this place, the Amazon place, like the water, and then like she's walking, and you see the armadillos, and then they're fighting, and I like the montage fight scenes. It's like, Diana, you're self doubting. And she's like, no, I'm not. As a teenager, she's like, yes, you were. I was like, and I should have known. My own sister would do this, train behind my back. Well, you have to train her hard. And you get this great montage of her growing up and her as an adult training. And I like all that, and I like the relationship she had with her aunt. And as I said, that fucking fight scene on the beach with the guns, like the was fucking great, and they're there fucking each other up, and like they're there like slicing people, and then fucking people are getting shot and it's in slow motion and they're jumping with the three arrows and shooting at each other. It's just a really well thought out, done action sequence. And then she kind of joins in on the battle and doesn't. And Steve is kind of fucking up people, and they're like, "Who is he? We gotta kill him." He's like, "No," and the girl gets shot, and she's like, "No," and then they get shot again, and, and she's like, "No, no," and then there's this really great emotional moment with Diana and stuff like that. But yeah, and then they kind of go off, and there's they're like, "Who are you?" It's like, I have no problems. Like, we need your serial number. I can't tell you that. We need this. I can't tell you that either. But I like the relationship between Gal Gadot and Steve Trevor. I thought that Chris Pine was very funny and very good in the movie as well. Um, that action scene was done really, really well. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Have I talked about everything that I want to talk about? Um, yeah, I also love the fight, the scene when they're on the horse. She's like, "Yeah, yeah." Like, what? How do we get in there? And then Steve Trevor like hits a guy and then dresses up as like a German's like, "Why do you do that?" It's like, "You don't have an invitation here." "How come you forgot my invitation?" It's like, "I didn't mean to forget it. You forgot my invitation," and stuff like that. I was like, "You idiot," and stuff, and they let him in. And then there's the moment where she's gonna, Diana's gonna kill the woman. Like, listen, listen, you can't just kill him. It's, you'll hurt him and stuff. You can't just do that. It might not be him. What if it doesn't work? Like, I have to kill him. He's making people suffer. And then that scene where she's like, "Oh, they're dead. They're all dead." It's like a horror, like this horror moment in a way when she goes to the pyroclast. There's a lot of those kind of emotional moments. There's a part where they're sitting by the fire and Charlie's like, "Oh no," and then he's like, "What's up?" Um, he's like, "Oh, he sees ghosts or whatever." And then it's like, "What made you want to be in the war?" It's like, "I don't like fighting people," or something like that. He's like, I just prefer not to, something like that. Um, but I love that when she's on the horse and like great shot of her in the woods and people like there, and she just fucking slices a guy with the sword, fucking people up left and right, and like fucking slashes them, and great fight scene. But the bits of humor they have in there are nice. Like when, as I said, when she's trying to walk through the door, there's also this amazing scene where it's like, hopefully we're not being followed, and then there's a guy with a gun comes out. It's like, all right, get on the ground, and it's kind of like mirroring that scene in the original Superman. And she's like, all right, and then she kind of goes to going pew, goes to shoot, and then she stops him. Is like, what? And then like fucks him up again and stuff like that, and like punches the guy, and then he runs away, and the girl's like, where do you think you're going with the sword and shield? And then there's the part where she's talking to I like the line where she's like, "Oh, I'm a secretary. Nice to meet you." It's like, "What's a secretary?" And she's like, "Oh, tell me where he wants. He tells me where he wants me to go, and does what he tells me to do." I was like, "In where I'm from, that's called slavery." She's like, "Oh, I really like her. I really like her, and I like when they're trying on outfits. Oh, that's nice." And she's like, "Oh," when he's taking off clothes. "Oh no, don't do that." Um, I also like the part. It's like where the guy's telling the funny stories. Like, "Yeah, you part of that battalion?" He's like, "Excuse me." He's like, and the guy's like, "Oh my god, that's a work of art." And then throughout the movie, he's constantly flirting with Leon, like, "Oh, your eyes are beautiful" and stuff. But they're very likable characters. You know. And then it's like, "Where's Charlie?" And he's like, "Whoop," gets hit. Yeah, that's Charlie. And then there's the moment where Charlie sings, like, "You're not gonna sing for us, Charlie." Sing. He's like, "Oh," and he kind of starts singing this kind of Scottish song. He's like, "Who's there's a woman?" and all that. But I like the kind of political side of it. It's about war. What is it good for? I'd even say it's actually better than the first Captain America movie. But yeah, like, war is bad, and like Diana's a likable character. She just doesn't see the need for war. I also love when she first arrives at London. It's like, oh, it's hideous. Yeah, it's not for everybody. Oh, what's that? What's this? No, why are they holding hands? Because they're together. Are we together? It's like, no, we're not together. We can't hold hands like that. And then there's the part where there's the whole meeting. Okay, we got to do that like that. And it's like, why is there a woman here? And then he's talking to the guy, the villain who seems poor at the beginning, and even goes, and then later on, he's like, "I suppose you're going to do something that's either going to get you killed oh, you know, good. It's like, yes, sir. And then like, um, he's talking on the phone with him, and he's like, sir, we gonna do it, sir? You're breaking up, sir. Because like he obviously is going against what he's saying, and but yeah, there's that, and then I'm trying to think what else I like. Um, yeah, I like that scene quite a bit, and then we got the whole fucking. So we got that. Um, yeah, and every other scene is like, oh, Diana, he's acting all innocent, and then just the whole, you should be ashamed. What are you doing? And the part where she's like, okay, that's the language, and it's like, what? And it's like, yeah, uh, you know, that's the type of language this is. I speak all these different languages, and that's even like earlier on. It's like, who are you? How can you speak English so well? It's like, oh, I can speak all languages. That was like earlier on in the movie as well. But I like that. I like the whole scene where she's like, "You shall be ashamed," and he's like, "You lied to me." He's like, "No, no, I didn't lie or at all. Like, come on, I'll tell you the truth. We have to do this now, Diana." And then he grabs the lasso of truth. It's like, I'm gonna do this. It's a terrible idea and all that. But yeah, I like the humor. I like the chemistry they have between each other. Like, come on, Diana, let's go. Diana, no, don't do that. Don't walk through with the sword and shield. Diana, put it down. After you, sir. Diana, give it to me. It's like, Diana, no, they're not together. Diana, I really like that. Um, and I love, as I said, the final act. This amazing fight scene, like it's you again. It's like, yeah, you're gonna put an end to it, and they're like fighting and hitting, and then he stabs her, and then it's revealed that Ares is the other guy, and there's just amazing action spectacle where he's like explaining what he's doing, exposition like in the world, and that he's been whispering ideas to the villains, so the villains are kind of like, well, half the face kind of like that, and the other villains like that, and he's like, we can live in a paradise. It's like, Diana, he's like, I don't want to be part of that. And then we get this amazing fight scene where like she starts fighting, like throwing stuff, and she goes like fucking gets a chain that's like, and he gets his full super villain costume. He's like, no. And there was a part earlier where she tries to stab, and it goes like the dust, and then they're trying to infiltrate the whole fucking um the planes, and it's like and all that. And she gets the chain, and it's like, and she's like that. She goes like that, and it fucks him up, and all of this crazy shit, and it's just this amazing fight scene. She punches him, and then obviously Steve like knocks the guy out of the plane, like, come on, and then goes up, and she's like, no, shoots him, blows it up or whatever. Um, and before that, she's like, just stay away or whatever. You can't let people die. And then there's this argument that they have on this place, like, Diana, I have to go. I have to go. Seriously, come with me or not. Don't come with me then. And then runs off. I have to go. And there's this scene where just this emotional scene where it blows up. And earlier on, when she gets like explodes and she falls, Steve goes up and is like saying something to her, like, and it's because her hearing's all fucked up. We don't know, so he gives him the watch and goes off. But then she remembers it, and we hear the dialogue like, I have to go. I gotta go save it. The plane's like, Steve, Steve, what are you talking about? And it's like, gotta go destroy the plane. And he's like, I love you, runs off. And it's just really emotional. And then when it blows up, she's like, no, and their fucking powers go crazy, and she just goes fucking nuts, hitting, fucking this guy up, kills him, whatever. Then we have that amazing scene at the end where everyone's celebrating the war being over, and then, she's kind of saying goodbye to everyone, like, yeah, and they're patting him on the shoulder, like, spy, and it's like, yeah, and then he's saying goodbye as well. What's his face to Charlie, and then we go to the end and where she's like emailing Bruce Wayne, and then we get the line again, the I used to believe I could save the world, and then we get this great shot of her getting up and then jumping out with the whole shield and the you know sword. Yeah, I love that. I love that scene as well. Like I love a lot of scenes in this movie. I'm gonna try wrap this up as quickly as possible. I love the scene where her mother gives her this. It's like, guard that with all your heart. It's like, we have to go fight with them, and she's like, No, we can't, Diana. I like the way this whole set looks, the use of atmosphere and location. The part where they have the lasso of truth and stuff like that, and he's like, um, it's like, what is this? And she's like, it's the lasso's meant to tell you everything. He's like, yeah, it's really hot. And then he tells everything. He's like, so I'm a spy. I'm a spy. It's what I do. And then I really like the whole backstory thing. I love the scene where he's like in the water and his foot is going like that. It's like, whoa, having a bat. And he's like, oh, he's like, what's that? And she's like, oh, it's this thing here. It's a watch or whatever. Um, and he goes, what is this place? Why do you speak English so well? Why does your water do that? Hey, Zayn Jamil, what's up, man? Um, or woman, I don't know. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, there's that. I like that scene, and I also really like the part where they're on the boat on the way and they're talking and hello again. Um, yeah, so I like that part. I'm trying to think what else. Um, I'm just trying to make sure I'm talking about everything I want to talk about because it's my OCD. I don't know. So yeah, like then I really like that aspect of the movie. Um, the whole like they're talking. It's like, yeah, I was like, who was your father? Do you not have a father? He's like, no, I was sculpted from clay and brought to life by Zeus. Like, yeah, that's neat. And then like she's like, he wants to sleep separately, but then she's like, do you want to sleep next to me? No, I don't want to sleep next because it's just out of respect. It's like men and women don't sleep together. You don't sleep next to women. It's like, no, 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 I do. It's just, oh, whatever, fine. I'll go sleep over with you if it's okay because it's more comfortable. And then I like the bonding, the learning about the backstory and all of that. And then it's a little bit differently how we do it and all that. And he's like, oh, you're talking about reproduction. And it's like, yeah, yeah. I've read all 12 of these things. All 12, huh? Do you have any of them with you? It's like, no. So it's like, you sure? Like, there's that kind of like sexual jokes. And then there's I love later on when the guy's like, I'm both amazed and aroused. Like, I'm both frightened and aroused. I really like that. But she is a tough character, and I think Patty Jenkins' direction was great. And I love how she put her heart and soul into this movie, and it doesn't feel like a setup movie for like a future Justice League. There isn't even a fucking post credit scene. You do get the whole, the usual kind of credits, the amazing credits with the whole, it pops up Wonder Woman with the colorful visuals at the end. But I love how they actually wanted story first, and it feels like its own individual movie. Wonder Woman characters, Wonder Woman plot. It doesn't need the fucking rest of the DCEU, or it doesn't need to set up anything else. That's what I love about this movie. Um, it was its own film, and I love that. Um, I'm gonna talk about the villain scenes, then I'm gonna wrap it up. The villains, for the most part, you hear the other two guys. You get the commander like, oh, he busts in. You weren't at the meeting, commander. Is like, oh yeah, and then they use the poison gas and they run out. It's like, but they don't know that the gas masks don't work. It's like, yeah, I know, and they're like, really awkwardly. There's obviously that scene where Diana's dancing and they're talking and all that, and then there's the scene where Steve Trevor goes up, "Oh, I love fire. It's so great. It's like ash. It's like the start of life." And then the shot of her kind of talking, looking. And then there's the part where Diana picks up the tank, and then the guy's like, and you know, thing goes off, and he's like, "You can finish her right now. You can finish her right now." Yeah, I have grown. Thank you. I'll actually answer the questions before I end the stream, but I'll just get the review done and then I'll look at the questions. Um, you know, and I like how like she's about to do it, but then she kind of turns away and throws the fucking tank and then runs. I love that. Um, I like the villain scenes, like the villain where the commanders walk, like, "What are you doing? We can't do this," and then he just goes, "Yeah," shoots the guy. I'm trying to just see what else. What else is there that I can talk about? Um, yeah. So there's that. Um, yeah. Just trying to see if I thought about everything. Yeah, we cut to a lot of scenes like, oh, we can make this poison gas here, where they're like they're making it, and they're like, oh yeah, and then there's a part like this will make you stronger, and he's like, I admire you, I'm able to do your work, and then like he inhales it, his face goes like crazy. Um, there's all of that kind of scenes. So yeah, I also love the scene where she's like running and jumping onto the wall and like climbing up it to get the sword. Um, I like she looks at the sword and gets it, and then I like that to reveal the outfit. I also love someone saying like, "No, I'll do it for this." Like my and the whole epic line, "I'm Princess Diana of the thing." I love that. That's epic. I also they call her Diana Prince for most of it, like the part where he's like, "I'm Diana, Princess of no Prince, Diana Prince. Let's go." Um, then what else do we have? I also love the whole backstory of like how he's like stealing the gas and stealing things, and he's like, "It's a spy! Follow that man!" Then he's running away and he's shooting, he's knocking people out of the fucking planes. He gets on it, flies, and you get the shot of him going blowing up shit. Steve Trevor. So yeah. So overall, I think the music is amazing. The it plays during nearly pretty much every action, most of the action sequences with Gal Gadot, and and just the music in general has this nice epic feel to the story. I think it's very like visually stunning to look at, very nice style, substance, nice action, brilliant performances, great chemistry, music excellent, visually nice, visuals are nice, the writing is very good. I think Gal Gadot is great in this. I think she's much better in this than she was in Batman v Superman. She kind of could have been taken out of that film. I like how the movie stands on its own, and it felt like a passion project. But yeah, action sequences very well done. Editing's very well done. Do I have any issues with it? Really? I'd actually give this a 10 out of 10. I think it's a 10 out of 10 DC film. So it's fun, it's action packed, it's funny, it's very emotional. I think the emotional scenes are great. There's a great use of show don't tell, and it'll make you cry. So yeah, there's moderate violence. It's rated 12. So here's the front, the spine, back, and it's actually 141 minutes, which I forgot it was this long. I saw this in cinema back in 2017, and I rewatched it yesterday in preparation for this review. Front spine back. I still haven't seen the sequel. I'm thinking I got it like last year. I might watch it today. I heard the sequel's meant to be terrible, but it's like I might like it because I'm kind of I like I like a lot of the DCEU films actually. I love the Suicide Squad. The thanks Hayden. The I love the James Gunn Suicide Squad, not the first one. The first one's fucking dog shit. Um, and Batman v Superman has grown on me. But anyway, yeah, I really like the slip cover. Nice Blu-ray case. Quality in the print of this Blu-ray is amazing. Okay, so that was my movie review of Wonder Woman. I'll see you guys later. And just before I go, I'll answer these questions. Okay, I'm gonna go to the top. So we've Hey Keen from Hayden Jones Media. Hey Kane, what? Just saying, it's spelled CIAN. Just saying. So it's Hey Kane. I watched Spider-Man: Homecoming and Far From Home on the 3 movie collection Blu-ray yesterday. Nice. I've seen that Blu-ray collection. I think I have it. I don't have it, but like yeah, anyway. Hey Kane, I have your favorite movie, Scott Pilgrim. I've already answered that. Yeah. Okay, so Hey Kane, I have PS4. I got that since my 14th birthday of 2020. Nice. So that makes you 16 now. Cool. Bunch of dating naked shit. Lovely. Hey Keen, what's your favorite Mario game? Super Mario Bros. 3, probably, or no, Mario Galaxy, probably 1 and 2. Hey Keen, hello Keen. Keen, how are you? I'm pretty good, dude. Um, hey Keen, what's your favorite PS2 game? I didn't play the PS2 that much, to be honest. Grand Theft Auto, I think I played that one of them. Grand Theft Auto 3. You've grown a lot in 7 years, yeah. So yeah, that's it, guys. I will see you guys later. Bye. I might be live streaming later, with Matthew if he's available. So yeah, I'll see you guys later, and bye.